Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Konveyor community call. We have a fun-packed agenda today, and this meeting abides by Konveyor Code of Conduct, which means please be nice to one another. And I see a lot of new faces joining us today. I just want to say my name is Savita. I'm one of the Konveyor maintainers, and I'll be your host today. If you want to say hi, go ahead and say hi. And I am going to, in the meanwhile, I'm going to add the agenda again to the chat. So please feel free to add your name there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Celestino. I was invited to call by John yesterday. We had the chat on Slack. So very nice to meet you all.
Thank you for joining.
Welcome, Celestina. All right. So I'm gonna jump into the topics. The first one is demos, and the first one is I think it's by David. If I'm not wrong, sorry, David, to put you on spot. Could be David or Jason. Please take it away. Oh, do we have David there?
Checking.
Yeah, I'm here. So the automated publishing of Konveyor, the operator releases, is something Jason can show off.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take over. Let me present. All right, are you guys able to see my screen, hopefully?
Yep, I can see it.
Perfect. All right, so what we've created here is a GitHub action to automatically, to automate the process to publish a new release to the community operators. So the way that works is you just go to the actions, you choose publish a new release to community operators. You can run the workflow and you just have to fill in a little bit of information. So what you end up filling in is the OLM channel you want to have, the version. The only version this will work right now is 2.1.3, just because we have all the images. So the part that will have to happen before this is that the images will have to be created. So effectively, I believe David's release script will have to be run, which will trigger the image creation, and then we can run this. The next step for all this will probably be to tie this all together so that you just have to run one thing, fill in a few things, and the whole process will happen. Right now, it's kind of a two-step thing. So anyway, the version, if there's a previous version, you can plug in the previous version, put in your name, and then your email address. And all this is for is to configure it so that it's filled in on your PR. So once that's done, run the workflow. This will probably take less than a minute to run. So there's not a lot going on in this script. There is actually a lot. David did most of the work on this original script that I think was for the bare metal assisted installer or something like that. So but literally that's it to run. So what happened there is we have an account called Konveyor release robot, or Konveyor bot, something like that, Konveyor release robot. And that bot basically has a copy of the Red Hat OpenShift operators, community operators prod repo. So in its fork, it creates a branch, and from there it copies over the files, makes the necessary changes for the version, and then creates the PR, which you can basically see here. And this was all generated using that script. So it copies over the CSV, makes all the necessary changes. So if you look in our repo at this file, you'll see that it'll say like 99.0.0. So it fixes all this stuff. The other thing it does is it goes out, and the reason that we need the images there is it will replace all the tags with SHAs, so that hopefully this works in disconnected right out of the gate the first time we do a release. It also takes any images like Postgres and Keycloak that are not ours and syncs them to our org, and then uses the SHAs so that disconnected will work. The reason that we need to do that is we can't really tell other people not to change their the SHAs for their tags. So in case they update the tag, we need the SHA to be there, so we copy it over so we have it in a permanent location like this. So that's another thing the script is doing. Yeah, and basically that's it. It copies a few other files, updates here with the channel that we entered, and we have a PR. And if we wanted to merge this, we could merge this. So it saves a lot of work. I think editing the CSVs is probably pretty cumbersome for most people, and getting all the SHAs and replace them is probably a huge nightmare. So this should hopefully greatly reduce the difficulty there. Does anybody have any questions?
Very cool, Jason.
All right, if no questions, I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. That was wonderful. And do anyone have any questions for Jason before we move on to the next one? And John, can you share your screen again?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
No, not a problem at all. Not a problem.
Can anybody click that button, Jason, or do you have to have certain perms to do that?
You need the run workflow permission on that repo, which is not automatic. So
okay,
I don't think it would be especially high up on the permission list for members of our projects. But yeah, you need that work part. You need the permission to run workflows on the repo in order to run that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so there's a so the Konveyor robot account has a personal access token that's used to access its repo and to create the fork. I think for the Konveyor org, for the most part, it's just read only. And then we use the secrets for Quay in our org to push the images.
Makes sense. The only thing I was wondering is if some random person could go and fake a release.
I believe you need to be logged in to dispatch a workflow, right? So I don't think a person could just walk over there and do that.
Sounds good. I just, me over here with my tinfoil hat on.
Makes sense.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Moving on to the next one, we have a automated tagging of resources wind-up demo, and I think it's from Ian. If not, please correct me.
Yep, that's going to be from me today. So let me see if I can get the screen sharing to work.
Thank you.
Google very helpfully labels my screens 1, 2, and 3. So give me just a second here. All right, is that visible?
Starting to come in.
Yes, it is now.
All right, wonderful. So we recently added a new feature to analysis that allows tags to be automatically added to an application by the analysis process. So that is surfaced in the UI through the analysis wizard here towards the end. Looks like I need to set myself some targets here. So here under options, you just enable automatic tagging. Now I have gone ahead and pre-baked this rather than trust the demo to go off live. When that runs successfully, you now see that there are two categories of tags, those that have been manually applied by a user and those that have been applied by the analysis itself. So this is another new thing that we're doing, is we're keeping track of where the tags actually come from. There's a field on the tag resource in the API that allows us to distinguish between those that were created by the user, those that were created by analysis, or some yet to be determined future feature. There's a new tags sub-resource as well that allows us to automatically or easily through the add-on manipulate the collection of resources on the application, create new as necessary. And that's another feature of the add-on windup. I'm sorry, windup add-on is that it will in fact create any missing tag categories and tags in order to apply them to the application. Any questions?
Yes, please. The enabling is the default by default.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question around the tag categories. Can you switch to the other tab? I just want to see like CSS, HTML, they're all under markup. So I just want to see like how they're assigned to tag types.
So what is it you'd like me to show you?
So if you look, if you see the tags CSS, HTML, they're all in the markup. I see that the source is set to the text, but how do you see the tag types?
You're talking about in the, well, here in the UI, you can see the markup being the tag category there. This API that I'm showing, this tag sub-resource on the application, shows that it shows the same tag resource. It shows the same tag ref that we use everywhere else through the API. You don't actually see the tag category here.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. That was really cool to see. And next up is Sean. I got the name right this time.
Hey, Pranam, do you want to share the slides first, or do you want me to go first? We're not put some slides together as well.
No, I don't.
No slides.
No.
Okay, no worries. I got this. All right, here we go. So, hey everybody. I wanted to show off some stuff that we've been working on in the Analyzer SIG. Can folks see the terminal? And is it big enough for folks to read?
I can see it.
Yep.
Looks big enough to me.
Perfect. So what I wanted to show today was the running of our integration with windup rules. One of the things that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks in the Analyzer SIG is a way to test out our new analyzer by using all of the built-in tests that windup already has, which is really awesome. This has really helped us get some like real usage on our tool in an automated way. So we're getting some really good feedback already from this. So I just wanted to show that off real fast. Are there any questions while I get everything set up? Cool, then I'll just walk through what I'm doing. So if you go ahead and clone the Analyze P repo and you just build this Docker file and tag it as Analyzer LSP, you'll be able to build the file, and what you're going to do is actually use this in our integration repo. Sorry about that. The integration repo is in Fabian's org right now. We haven't brought it over to Konveyor, and hopefully somebody can add a link in the chat for me. But what you'll see here is it's using that from Analyzer LSP container that we just built to then run the shim. So you have both of those things. You can just build this guy. From here, you're just going to want to run this container. Nice. There we go. Once you're in here, you can go ahead and run the windup shim command. This is the command that's going to do all of the stuff to make it so that we can run our tests. This is the work that's in that repository. The command is test, and then we also downloaded all the windup rule sets here. So we just clone their repository directly into this container. So you can use all of the windup rules that you want. And now we will run this against all the OpenShift rules real fast. Oh, looks like I got a little bit of a bug. Okay. I think I know what's going on here. I think this command isn't in the path. If somebody wants to file a good first issue, this would be some good help to get us going. I think all we're going to do is move this to all right, let's give this another try. Okay, so now it's actually running. We can actually see some interesting things if we do this. So because this container is running, I can actually exec into it. Exec. Oh. I promise I know the commands. So now that we're back in the container, I can quickly go to that temp directory and kind of explain what's going on while it runs. So we have this provider config file. This is used by the analyzer to tell the analysis where to run, what to do, everything like that. There's also the rules. So these are the converted rules from the from windup into the new analyzer LSP format. So if we look at this guy, we can actually see it's a fairly large rule, mostly tagging things when it finds certain things inside of the dependency list. Oh man, do we get failures? No, we haven't yet. Okay, those are just the past ones. Sorry about that, folks. We can also use this debug command here, and you can actually see the output of the analysis run. So you can see like, oh, this rule was matched, or all of that good information. But here's the really interesting thing. If you want to run this command yourself and just run it for this particular set of things, you can use the command. There's also Devil installed here, and you can use Devil to get a debug environment up. So that's something that Fabian worked on as well. And so, as you can see, we are making our way through. Looks like we did get a problem. Another good issue to raise. But you can see here, these are all the violations and everything that's going on. That one. All right. That is one that I have to come back to, RMI. But the goal here would be that once we get this more stable, we would have a CI test put in place so that anytime any changes are made to the analyzer bundle or to the analyzer LSP, obviously we wouldn't want to make sure that we don't break any of this. So we're making our way to make it more stable. We have found some issues and we're working our way through them, but we did want to show off the ability to run this and show it mostly working for the most part. So we're at like 95 success, and I think we have 3 more rules to test or 4 more rules to test. We should be close to 19 out of like 27, or sorry, 26 out of 27 of the rules tested. Are there any questions about what we've done so far?
Sean, I just wanted to summarize a little bit of, I guess, context of what some of this is doing. So with this, you're going through a new analyzer that's for the Java language based on language server protocol. The really cool thing about the language server protocol is it's out there and everyone's using it. So it's all over the place. Tons of languages are implementing it. Everything in VS Code, I believe the VS Code is probably the big one. And then other IDs using it too. That gives us the ability that now we can start adding other languages with less work into our analysis work. And what Sean's kind of showing on right here is that we have Windup that does a lot of this awesome Java analysis. Windup has an awesome test suite of all kinds of stuff. And the shim is able to wrap that. So now we can start getting actual metrics about the feature parity of where we are. That's the thing that makes this so cool of the work that's kind of going on. After we get the feature parity with Java, the next thing that's coming up is going to be support for C#, where we can start working with .NET and then add in other languages. So a lot of cool things are going to come out of here probably in the next few weeks because we're iterating pretty rapid on this. And thank you, Sean, for showing us.
Yeah, no problem. It looks like I may have, in my quest to fix things, may have broken something. So I'm sure everyone can relate to that feeling before. But
next time, gotta do a sacrifice.
Yeah, but for the most part, right, we're seeing pretty good success. We're up at 88%. We had it at 100. I think I know what's going wrong, but that is going to be on me to go fix. If anybody's interested in helping us out, right, like we do have, I think, a couple good first issues. So it would be wonderful to see you all over in the Analyzer LSP repository, and ping me on Slack or email me, and I am more than happy to help anybody get started. So are there any more questions before we end? Cool. Sounds like we're good.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sean.
everybody.
That was really cool. And I was gonna say that you didn't pray to the demo gods today. And if folks are interested, there is also a SIG analyzer meeting that happens the alternative Thursdays of the community meeting. It is at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and it will happen next Thursday. So you can follow up there if you are interested in picking up one of the good first issues. Moving on. So I am gonna switch to open discussion if folks don't have any objection, because we only have like 15 minutes and I want to give. Cool, thank you. First up is charter discussion. John, please take it away.
I'm going to go quick on this because I know we don't have a lot of time. Main thing I want to do is just to raise awareness that we have a new charter that we've drafted. There's a PR for it right now. Link here to the PR. The point of the charter is we were looking to kind of just capture everybody, document what are we going after. So we've done this refocus. We're refocusing on the replatform and the refactor use cases. And we're just documenting here the standard things to align the team, everybody in the project, what we're going after, so others can see it. So please take a look. If you have any feedback, let us know so we can refine this. You'll see the basics of a charter. We have our vision, our mission, the objectives that we're going after. And we also call out here different pieces of what's in scope, what's out of scope, trying to answer all those basic questions of where's the future of Konveyor, where do we see this community taking the project. I won't go into all the details right now. Everything's here. You can read. Please, anything you want to add on here, go in the PR, open up a discussion. Happy to discuss anything else on it. In just interest of time, since we do have Celestino on the call, it would probably be really good to open up the conversation around a question that was raised past few days ago about essentially improving what we're doing for assessments. So that's probably the next thing to go into. So Celestino, how about I open it up to you? Can you tell us a little bit about what your use cases are with Konveyor, what interests you?
Okay, thank you. The question was originally raised by another person. Then I chimed in the thread. So if this other person is here and they want
Are you two in the same
add something.
company or
No,
different companies?
I believe different companies. I never
Oh,
heard
I'm
of.
so sorry. I misunderstood. I thought that. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have him here. That PC, I think was.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you
here,
are.
but you can go.
Okay. So basically, what we do, what we would like to do would be to have a solution. So we have different customers that might be interested in migrating their or modernizing their application portfolio. We would like to have a customizable questionnaire for them because at least for our use case, in our case, customers are mostly not using Java at all. I mean, they don't have application written in Java, so they have PHP, they have Ruby, they have .NET applications, and only a small fraction of them has Java applications. So we would like to, or we ideally will be able to customize the questionnaire on a customer basis so that we can give them the tool with questions that we have identified or grouped by programming language or technology or maybe even financial sector or industry sector and so on. So that will be the idea. And on top of that, it will be great if the UI could match their corporate design, since people care about these things. So showing a generic Konveyor application is totally fine, but for some of them, they would probably want to have something customized to match their corporate design. But that would be a nice to have. The important thing is that we could give a relevant questionnaire for their use case.
Federico, is that aligned with what you wanted?
Yeah, that's mostly my use case because I also have different customers, and maybe in a specific customer there are several applications which are slightly different, and maybe we'd like to have like better granularity for some questions. Yeah, for example, just an example is that maybe what operating system does the application require? Yeah, I think that maybe with a customer, it would be optimal to add some responses, some answers, things like that. But the use case is mostly the same.
Okay, so let me tell you what we would like to do, and let's see if that fits what you guys have in mind. So, as John said on the thread in the Konveyor community chat, the thing is that we're looking into, instead of enhancing the current Pathfinder module, which is not that much aligned with the rest of the architecture that we have in Konveyor, because that's something that we inherited from Tackle 1, which was a Java-oriented microservices architecture. We redid most of the core part of things. The hub was completely re-implemented, but we kept Pathfinder as it was. The idea that the team has was to make the assessment piece a part of the hub, of the core of the whole thing. That's architecture-wise. Feature-wise, the idea is, of course, to have the possibility of support for multiple questionnaires, add the possibility for users to add their own questions to questionnaires, come up with a simple, probably YAML syntax to store questionnaires. So instead of trying to boil the ocean of on the first iteration. We will have a simple UI that supports everything. The editing will be done in YAML and probably imported. And as we progress, maybe we could have interactive questionnaire editor, so on and so forth. But let's be pragmatic and first iterate in and have this YAML approach to custom questionnaires. And we also would like to introduce some notion of intelligence in the questionnaires, things like that. Because if you see right now with Pathfinder, there's just a static set of questions and answers, and that's about it. But what we're trying to do with Konveyor is have this application inventory that surfaces information about our application portfolio. And we would like that information to be the input for some of the modules to do some smart things. So imagine that we've already analyzed one application. We have some technology tags in there. And based on that tags, we have some questions that can be omitted, or some specific questions about that technology that would make sense only if the application has been previously tagged. Or maybe something like, if I add a certain answer, that will end up also auto-tagging my application and adding some additional tags that come from the assessment itself. It's just a matter of having something that is a little bit more tightly integrated between the, not coupled, but integrated. And that, I think, that can be achieved through the usage of tags. And one of the things that we're trying to do with Konveyor in the future is have let's say, a canonical set of tags that we ship and that the different add-ons use for whatever they do, that have a very specific meaning. That means that, I think Jeff explains this thing way better than myself, but basically some tags that can be used to do a certain types of actions. And if you don't have a static canonical set of tags, then it's not possible to do something like that. So basically, it's a smarter approach to the assessment and a more dynamic, configurable approach to assessment. Does it sound like interesting to you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
The problem, like John said, is bandwidth. Right now, we are focused on releasing 0.10. Probably, I don't know if the next release will be 1.00 with the new analyzer. We still have to discuss numbers and so on and so forth. But I would say the next big milestone is likely to be the new analyzer, having it fully integrated with the inventory, and probably having some dynamic reporting system that allows you to drill down into the inventory, the issues, and aggregate information in any way you might see fit. And afterwards, I imagine we can get into the assessment. But priority-wise, I guess John owns the thing.
Ramon exactly talked about the big priority right now. Is we're going, first things, we don't know what number is going to be when we come out with the next stuff. We're starting on 0.1, and we're kind of just going to follow Semver and see where we go. So as things are ready, more releases come out with different versions. But right now, we have a rough goal of the summer. And for the summer, the big piece here is that we want to establish this new framework for analysis of using LSP, so we can start to add other languages in. And to do that, the first thing we have to do is make sure we have the feature parity with windup. So a lot of work going on that. We need to expand the concepts in the hub so analysis data is a first-class thing, and we can start to do better kinds of way of reporting. Those are the main goals for the summer release. After that's addressed, then we can start looking at picking up new work. And I believe working on the improved assessment modules is the next thing we pull in.
Yeah.
It's just a case of I don't know when we're going to have the time to start laying down designs and collaborating. A very rough feel is we're probably looking at about 3 months. That's very rough. It could be, changes. I don't know. We could talk a little bit beforehand if you want to. It's kind of based on how much you want to get into this. This is definitely something we want to do. So if you want to collaborate, we can try to find a way to start doing something on it. But I don't think we'll have a lot of development bandwidth until we're going to that closer to 3-month mark.
Well, it looks great. Thank you for the explanation and everything. As I said in the Slack channel, we will be open. I mean, my company and I will be open to collaborate on this. It depends, of course, on how much time is needed. I have, of course, to ask authorization for that. But if hypothetically, yes, I mean, so let's talk about it when the time comes.
Cool.
And for now, we will consider 3 months from now to be the start of the work. I will share that internally, and we will go from there.
Great.
Celestino, there's a chance that we get at least the design kickstarted before, because I mean we need to have the enhancement before we start developing the thing. So I will make sure that I get you and Federico involved in this thing, at least inform. If you guys have the bandwidth, you can attend to the design sessions. If not, we will share the designs with you and tweak them accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
So I can already confirm that I can attend those sessions. So just let me know where they are, how can I sign up, and that's it.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah, if you can, yeah, write to me too. But I have to ask my managers because I don't know if we have the allocation available for that, but I will ask.
Okay, perfect.
Does anyone have any questions for Celestino? Great. Thank you for the wonderful conversation. So exciting to see so many communities coming together, so many people coming together and participating. So I'm going to move back to the announcements highlight. First up is Dylan.
Yeah.
And just a time check. We have 5 minutes, I think.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I'm actually
6
going to take
minutes.
30 seconds. So
Perfect.
I'm just here to tee up Merrick. I put this up like maybe a month ago. I updated my enhancement to just be very high level and generic in terms of what our goals were for CI. Merrick took the initiative to go and publish a follow-up enhancement that gets way more into the nitty-gritty details of how we plan to handle testing. So I just want to call out that I think my enhancement is generic enough at this point. Merrick's up next. He was hoping to bring up some of the work that he's published around detailed testing enhancement. So
I guess there's just a time question. Merrick, do you want to tease something right now, or do you want to wait until the next meeting?
Maybe 5 minutes is not that great. Or if you don't mind, I would just, let's say, 2 minutes quickly say what the enhancement is about,
Sounds
and
great.
then we can discuss it next time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me share my screen, please. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So this enhancement, just time check. This enhancement is about the testing responsibilities. It's follow-up on the Dylan's high overview on the testing. The most, I think, important thing here, what I wanted to define is to share some structure on what should be responsibility of the, let's say, component developers and the QE, and like how we should work together in order to deliver a quality product quickly and reliably. From my point of view, there is necessary to slightly talk about the type of the tests, which is the integration versus, let's say, application level. Technically, it's very similar, nearly the same, but this first part, which is integration, should be in close future required part of the development work on the conveyor components. So each PR should have, or most of PR should have some test updates or tests with it. And then there are some kind of application level, which currently QE is working on the UI testing, which really tests the whole application. One of the differences here is that the application level tests focus on like real use cases. So we have new function, which a new feature which can cover changes in the UI hub, also some add-ons, or let's say many components. And the QE or the application level test should focus on really the end user scenario, how it will be used and tested. difference there is that the integration test or the component test itself can test just the small piece, like a minimal way of testing, to focus on just to be clear that what was implemented works, at least the small part. This should there is some metrics which should give better overview on what we currently have and what we want to have. So there's some tests which I'm currently I'm currently working on a hub. So we are going to have hub tests or hub API tests, which will be, let's say, next week's ready and be ready to share with QE and also reusable by other components. And yeah, I think that's it for time restrictions. So if you have time, please check this PR. There are already some comments which should make it clear. And yeah, saying this is a draft, it's definitely ready to be updated or changed as necessary.
Thank you, Marek. I know it feels a little rushed. Thank you for giving the overview. It's really helpful. Folks, for those who are interested in the link or to the enhancements, learning more, it's in the agenda. I also put the link in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the Konveyor community channel. I know we have one more highlight. I don't know if Pranav wants to kick it off in a minute or like move to the next meeting.
No, I don't have anything to say in specific. I just wanted to share with everyone that we have an enhancement around dynamic reports up. It just talks about high-level problem statement, defines scope. So just if anyone's interested, just take a look and feel free to comment on the announcement.
Thank you for the gist, Pranav. That's exactly the highlight of doing the enhancement highlights. So those who are interested, please feel free to go take a look at the links and then add your thoughts, comments, and if you have any questions, we can always bring the topic back and discuss it in the community meeting next coming 2 weeks, or in the Slack channel, or in the next SIG meetings. Does anyone have anything else to add before I end this meeting? No. I see John unmute, but
No,
I don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you everyone for joining today. It's a great meeting. Thank you again. I will see you all in 2 weeks. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the Slack.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.